The Lone Star State is the final stop as two different worlds collide for a piece of Division II history. All the way from the Rockies, Colorado School of Mines is back in McKinney, Texas for the second straight year. Unfinished business in their quest for a first national title. It's uncharted territory for the Bisons of Harding, moments away from making their national championship debut.
Play with great love today. Play with great love today. Play with great passion today. Let it rip. Let it rip. Let it rip. Let it rip. And do it for one another. Together. 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 Today. 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 Today.
You're watching the NCAA Division II National Championship on ESPN. High noon inside McKinney ISD Stadium for what could be a good old-fashioned shootout. Harding is in the playoffs. They are in the championship for the first time in program history. The national runner-up from a year ago, Mines, back in the big show for the second straight year. Two quick starts last week in the semifinals led to blowouts. Colorado School of Mines, their third straight double-digit victory in these playoffs, while for Harding, they ran wild literally on Lenore-Rhine, 55-14. You look at the numbers, this is why there is so much hype for this Division II championship game. Take a look at it. The highest scoring offenses in the country, they go 2 and 3. Harding with the ground game. Then these defenses, they don't give an inch. Two of the lowest scoring Ds in all of college football. And then when they go toe-to-toe, something has to budge. Harding with the top-ranked rushing attack. Mines one of the toughest to run against. And a pleasant good afternoon. Sean Kinney alongside two-time All-American Charles Arbuckle. We also have Morgan Uber with us. We'll check in just a moment. Buck, we just saw the numbers. This is why we know there is so much at stake. These are two teams that are iron strong. They do not want to budge from what they do so well. Something has to give.
Yeah, when you look at this, you think about chefs. You have one that has a multitude of things on his menu. The other one has a few things, but they do them well. Both of these teams want to find a way to get this win.
You look at this rushing attack and what a year it has been for Harding. It has been a record-setting season. They're a little more than 300 yards away from hitting 6,000. No team has ever did that in any level of college football.
Yeah, when you look at this is a situation where you have a guy that can really run the football effectively. Cole Keelan is a guy that runs this option well, but he has so many weapons, whether it's Spicer, whether it's Martin, Jay. But Dela Cruz is a guy that makes it happen all over the field, and this is what you have to stop. Now, Matoka has had an outstanding career with Mines and has played outstanding, but I don't think it's just him. I think it's the running game that has to help him keep this Harding team off the field. I think that's really critical.
John Matoka and Mines back in the championship for the second straight year. For more on that, here's Morgan.
What a difference 1 year makes for Colorado School of Mines, going from underdogs to favorites. This team hasn't fallen below number 2 in the national polls all year. They've been ranked number 1 since week 7. Quarterback John Matoka said last year just advancing to the national championship game truly felt like a victory for this Mines team, where this year they've come in with a completely different mindset. They're not satisfied just being here. And Matoka said personally he also feels like he has a chance of redemption to make up for some of the mistakes he made last year to lead Mines to its first ever national title, guys.
Thank you very much, Morgan. Pete Sturbick arrived in Mines in 2019 as the offensive coordinator this past April. He was the obvious choice to take over the program when Brandon Moore left for San Diego, and now here they are back into the national championship game. Mines won the toss, and like they have done all season, they want to put this offense on the field first, and we are underway from McKinney, Texas. High end-over-ring kick. Magnus Lepak as he sends it through the end zone for the touchback.
Sean, we couldn't ask for a better day, man. Wow.
A lot of rain yesterday, nothing but sunshine today, and one of the best quarterbacks to play Division II football, John Matoka. Last week, he set a new record, 3 touchdown passes. He rushed for another. That gives him 190 total touchdowns in his career. He's thrown for 161, which is most in college football history.
Gets the ball out quickly. This defense is going to get after him. They have guys on the rush. They have to be effective early.
From the 25-yard line, they will test the secondary initially, and you see the scramble ability by Matoka as he shrugged off an arm tackle and falls ahead for a couple of yards. John Matoka, the fifth-year senior, Magnolia, Texas. He was this year's runner-up in the Harlan Hill race, which is the Heisman equivalent in Division II. 70% completion, over 4,000 passing yards, and look at the touchdown to interception ratio. Second down and all sorts of room as he will keep it. Matoka spins his way up to the 34-yard line. Clark Griffin brings him down.
You know, it's always interesting to watch option defenses have to guard against guys that can run a little bit of the option. That right there is what they want to do. They'll get Matoka on the outside, and he had clear sailing because they really were focused on the running back on the interior. This Harding defense, man, they have just played some nasty physical football. Only giving up 68.6 yards rushing. If you can get 80 or 90, you have a chance because you keep your clock going and you stay alive.
Third down and short. They will hand the ball off. First touch of the day for Walker, and he spins his way to a first down out past the 40. Landon Walker moves the sticks.
Sean, you and I talked about it. They're going to go tempo, but they have to be physical against this defensive front. They got to keep the chains going because you don't know how many possessions you're going to have. And we said that from the very beginning. Your running game is your best friend against a team that likes to run the football.
You look at Harding this year offensively, they're averaging close to 36 minutes of time of possession, so that becomes critical if you're Mines. And the first throw and strike to Max McCloud. What a dynamic duo these two have been.
Yeah, he didn't play his best game last week, but you knew he was going to be dialed in this week. Really, Flynn Sheely was the guy that really went off last week. Let's see if this Harding defense can figure it out. Mines is moving the ball effectively.
A little bit of tempo now. They work it even quicker. Back-to-back catches for McCloud. He's on to the plus side and a first down for the Orediggers.
And I think when you have a situation where you've been here before, you kind of know what to expect. Harding hasn't been here, but they're a team that'll figure it out. Mines is moving that ball effectively, both running and passing.
You look at the Bison's defense and their two linebackers, Zach Strickland, Clark Griffin, a couple of transfers. They have dominant rush-ins. They'll try to get to Matoka. He'll take his first shot, looking for McCloud, who makes the diving catch. No, they're going to say incomplete. Plus, there is a flag down in the secondary. Some contact with McCloud in the corner.
It looked like one of the linemen hit the ball or hit Matoka's arm, but I think they're going to call holding on that particular play against the defense.
Pass interference, number 13, defense. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
It's the good-looking redshirt freshman Jeremiah Jordan, who has some size, and that's going to be a key matchup, Jordan and McCloud.
All game long. It really is. And actually, he was matched up against Sheely, so he's grabbing Sheely as he's running down. And the thing is, he's got length. He's really long, athletic player.
That's what you need when you play Mines in the offense. McCloud at 6'3". Sheely's a great big target at 6'4". Penalty takes it to the 30. They get the quick screen to Max McCloud again. Much better job by Harding as they were right there. Clark Griffin, transfer from Alabama, one of the top tacklers.
88 tackles on the year, 12 tackles for loss, flies to the football. We've already seen Mines moving the ball, but there's been some physicality from that secondary. They will come up and hit you. That's the one thing in this kind of game. Can you protect the football? Can you make sure your defense plays well? And can you run the football? I think is really critical when you look at this kind of ball game.
Keep an eye on number 32. That is Nate Wallace. And here they come, and they are going to get to Matoka. Wesley Coleman, the big plug on the inside, able to work his way through.
Zach Strickland is the first one there. He flies in, and it allows all the rest of those guys to get there. You knew this was going to come. Watch 43 come in your screen, and he's going to fly to the ball. That allows big 99 Wesley Coleman to come right behind him. He said, hey, man, thank you. Thank you. I had breakfast tacos today, but I got a sack as well. Look at 43 coming in. Then you got the big guy coming in. Oh, man. Love Love football. And breakfast tacos, food is on the mind, right?
It's a double winner
Texas,
right there.
When you come to Texas, you got to have some breakfast tacos.
3rd and long for Matoka. They run a stunt, picked up nicely on the slant, pass is caught inside the 5. Shealy takes it down to the 2.
This is a problem for them, boy, because Central Missouri did the same thing. With these explosive receivers on the same side, it puts you in a bind, and if you don't get to Matoka, he's going to make you pay.
After the first down, they keep the foot on the gas. They will hand the ball off right up the middle with Walker, and he is upended, submarining low, taking him out. One of the interior linemen.
Flynn Shealy on the inside. Matoka, I said it again, gets this ball out quick. He's not a big, tall guy, but he's a guy that's able to throw it. Jeremiah Jordan is going to be covering either 14 or number 3. And he comes in real hard, and it's cleared out by McLeod, which allows all that open space in the middle of the field. Now, this is what Harding will do is they have a lot of rotation with defensive front. They've got 8 or 9 guys that they can play up front. That's why they're so good against the run.
Big package brought in for Mines. Preston Rose, the tight end, number 84. He'll switch to the left side. They go on balance. Wildcat with Walker. Flag flies, and Harding does a good job of stopping it. Price was in on the stop, the junior from Hamburg, Arkansas.
Yeah, they lock you down when you get down here. They don't let teams score in the red zone. 64% on the year.
Illegal substitution, 12 players on the field. Defense, half the distance to the goal.
These are the mistakes that you can't have.
Second down.
You've got your defense playing well. That's 2 really good plays in a row, but then you have a substitution issue, and you can't have those kind of mistakes. This is usually, both of these teams have been pretty good with this, Sean. They have not beat themselves, and that's what happens in games like this, making sure you don't have those MEs and hurt yourself.
Second penalty on this opening drive of this football game against Harding. They continue with the Wildcat. Walker flanked to his right by Roper. Walker looking to bounce it to the outside, trying to get wide, but you see the closing speed not allowing him to get to the corner. Oric Walker.
Yeah, they're so fast. When you watch them on tape, it looks like you have a chance to get outside. But watch how, and this is good by Walker, and Walker has good speed, but look at Oric Walker. He goes in, fights that off, and then makes the tackle, and then there's 3 or 4 others right there.
He just shredded off the running back Roper, who's a pretty physical blocker.
Yeah. What they do is they make sure they keep that outside shoulder free, so if they have to bounce out, they can quickly and then be effective when they get there.
The touchdown king John Matoka checks in for this critical 3rd and goal. Just outside the 2, empty set, Roper in motion. They move the pocket that direction. Wide open, Roper, touchdown.
Tim Brandon dialed it up really nice on that one. Hey, we're going to try to keep running, but if we can't, let's slide Noah Roper outside, who's also an effective receiver out of the backfield. That's his 4th touchdown on the year. And then really force Harding into making a decision. Good drive by Mines. Let's see if Harding can answer.
A 12-play, 75-yard drive. 5 minutes, 54 seconds off the game clock, and Mines is off and running here in McKinney, Texas. He has been the undisputed leader in Division II football. Matoka last week setting the all-time mark in the NCAA. He adds 1 more early here in the Lone Star State. 162 for Matoka. Touchdown passes. Mines fires the opening salvo.
The NCAA Division II Football Championship is brought to you by Inspire Sleep Apnea Innovation. No mask, no hose, just sleep. And IKEA.
Beautiful afternoon here in Texas, the site of the Division II National Championship. Plenty of good food and an impressive scoring drive for Mines. We wondered what experience would play as far as a factor in this game, and it took a while last year against Ferris State. They did not score a touchdown until late in the 3rd quarter. First time they touch it, a very impressive double-digit play drive marching it down the field.
And it was effective with a lot of different things from them that they had to do. Now, Harding has a chance now, and you know this triple option is always difficult to defend.
Short kick, and a good open field tackle is made at the 23-yard line. Flying downfield that time was J.J. Lee.
Special teams also comes and plays a big role in a game like this. And if you're Harding, where you've been really effective turning the ball over on defense, they have 7 defensive touchdowns on the year. Special teams also has been really key for them as well.
All Cole Keelan does is win football games, and he has learned this flex bone offense very quickly. 23-2 as a starter. He started all 11 games last season. And you talk to these coaches, and he started pretty much from scratch after high school learning this offense.
Look at the slot backs, but really pay attention to Dela Cruz, 26. He is the key in this offense.
And they will try to get him started, and there he goes. De La Cruz in a foot race into the secondary, and a touchdown-saving tackle is made by Will Drogosh.
What did I tell you? If you don't stop the B-back or the fullback or whatever you want to call him, he will make you pay. And look at that offensive line come off the ball effectively, and they're able to get through that hole and go. And now Harding can also go tempo, but they will slow it down a little bit. You have to stop the B-back. That guy is key. And watch the interior 51, 74, and 75. Watch what they do, because that'll be the key for the quarterback if he's going to hand or if he's going to keep or pitch.
See the wide splits as well on that left side. They try to counter, and that time Mines shuts the door. Braden Jay goes absolutely nowhere, hit at the point of attack.
Yeah, we talked to the coaches, Trip Thomas, and he said, hey, we have been working on this since February because we didn't know who we would play. You cannot prepare for this game in 3 days, but you have to have an understanding of situational football, sound fundamental football to stop this option offense.
You talked about putting in the base principles back in February. As you talked about, you build those rules. It's a base defense, system-type defense that the second-year defensive coordinator likes to run. They sweep it off to that left side. Jay, who's their home run threat. Good surge on that left side as he takes it to the 29.
What I noticed last week about Mines against Kutztown is that they were really good against the run. And you're going to have to be really, really sound against this team. Dela Cruz, big play off the beginning, and now you got Harding in a third and about 5.
Keep in mind, the Bisons love to go for it on 4th down as well. They've been very good on 3rd downs this year.
78%. My UCLA math says that's pretty good.
Jay in motion. They will make the quick read and pitch. One man to beat. First down run up to the 24, stretching it up ahead, fighting through the tackle of Zimmerman, and a first down carry for Jalen Spicer.
There's so much going on with the ball handling skills of Keelan. He's able to fake, pitch, and then you have to get to Spicer quick. He's got a lot of speed. You want to keep his shoulders going to the sideline. The minute he turns up, he's getting there.
Well, they're going to say just short. So Keelan will take it over the center, Levi Pate, and this will be plenty as the surge looked like he had enough, and we'll wait and see. The Harding crowd not real happy with that spot.
Well, that was a really good tackle on the outside, but I thought he did have enough for the first down. But you know they're going to line up and he's going to really get behind that center guard area, and just Hunter Willis and Levi Pate, Austin Toller. Pate's going, if you look at him, 6'5", 6 foot 265, not a big guy, but effective guy.
De La Cruz, after ripping off a 40-yard run a few moments ago, gets his second touch as he is crashed down on near the 20.
Yeah, you just have so much going on with the quarterback and his ball handling skills. The only thing that can hurt this offense is if he fumbles or anybody else on this team fumbles, because they use a lot of clock. They keep the ball away from you, and it makes offensive coaches on the other side worry about possessions.
De La Cruz has been the workhorse of this offense. 3 straight games averaging at least 20-plus carries. Had a 34-carry effort earlier in these playoffs. They run the pitch. Jay makes a plant and is upended at the 14-yard line. Close to another first down. Jaden Healy, the first-team Rocky Mountain Conference player, in on the tackle.
Yeah, so much focus on De La Cruz, but Braden Jay is a really, really key player for him as well. Coach said, hey, you wouldn't expect when he walks in the room that he's as good a player as he is. He said, but when he gets on that field, you realize it.
When you look at these two offenses and the offensive production that they have enjoyed throughout the year, you know they are both really good in the red zone. We saw Mines score on their first red zone trip. Let's see what the Bisons can do here. Gaping hole initially over that left side as De La Cruz plows to the 9. Adrian Moreno in on the stop.
The biggest problem, Sean, is always, can you stop the fullback dive? And then can you also get effectively on the outside if the quarterback keeps? So right here, there's no one there. Good blocking on the outside. Hunter Willis with a huge knockout block. So it's so many things coming at you, cut blocking and everything else, and then you have to pay attention to what the quarterback is doing with the football. That's why there's always a gap somewhere.
You mentioned big Hunter Willis, number 74, earlier this week. He was named a first-team AP All-American. Spicer trying to get to the edge. One man to beat. He'll try to muscle his way for the final few yards, and he's in. Touchdown for Jalen Spicer.
He had a huge game a few weeks ago against Central Missouri on some touchdown runs, and he's come right back and done it again. Now, this is where you pitch it outside, and you know Jalen Spicer wants to get in that end zone. Has guys out in front of him, has a defender there, Jackson Zimmerman, but Zimmerman is just able to hold him up and then throw him in the end zone. You're always 1 or 2 steps behind, and if you are, that's how they make you pay.
9 plays, 75 yards, and what a counter punch coming from Harding. Spicer with the touchdown run, his 5th rushing touchdown this year, and he had to use some muscle for the final few yards to get there. Running right through Zimmerman, and now the point after is up, and it is good. So in a game in which we had 2 dynamic offenses, 2 defenses that just don't give an inch, it's the offense early packing the punch. Harding with the equalizer. Nice, easy 300-plus mile drive for the fans from Harding, Searcy, Arkansas, and they are all fired up after that last drive to tie this game at 7. We talked about the flex bone. There's just not one component. You have a lot of different options. Assignment sound football when you play, and you see how they can spread it out.
Well, it's one of those things, you know it's coming, but it comes from different people and how they do it. The diversity of how they bring you the option is what makes it tough. And I think that's from a defensive standpoint. You've got to figure out how to stop that initial charge so you can then get to the pitch or the quarterback keep.
Lee Pack with his strong legs sends this kick through the end zone for another touchback. Offensive series number 2 for Mines. We return to McKinney. Tied at 7 here early in the first quarter, Mines and Harding. Don't forget the NCAA FCS Championship game is on Sunday, January 7th at 2 Eastern on ABC. Defending champion South Dakota State, fresh off a win last night. They will take on either North Dakota State or Montana. Those two kicking off later today in Missoula. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your official home for all 90 NCAA championships. Loss of 2 on first down. This aggressive defensive line with Gage Price, Wesley Coleman.
Got to stay ahead of schedule, and those 2 interior guys do a really nice job. I say Wesley Coleman, 500-pound bench, 800-pound squat, and got a lot of personality with it.
I was going to say, even a bigger personality when you talk to some of these players and coaches. Matoka stays perfect in this first quarter. He's now completed his first 6 passes. Blake Smotherman, the tight end, reels it in close to the 30, setting up a 3rd down.
Yeah, Blake Smotherman doesn't get a lot of catches, but 7th on the year. But I think that tight end crew is really effective in the pass game, but really more so in the run game for Mines.
Fresh bodies checking in for Harding, Terrell Johnson, a rush in along with Devontae Manning. They show a 4-man front. They drop 7 into coverage underneath. McLeod with his 4th catch, but he's going to be, it looked like initially short, but we'll wait for the official spot. They're going to say first down. So McLeod with that frame able to stretch at the last second.
He is really playing what I expected for him to come out and play. He's really getting involved early and making some plays right away.
Record-setting year for Max McLeod, and he is off and running this afternoon. Another catch out past the 45.
Really good route runner. I think that's the other thing that when you see Mines is getting a lot of attention from pro scouts. Probably 20 or more scouts have gone to their practices, and I think it's because he runs routes so effectively. Matoka gets the ball out effectively. They've got a big offensive lineman in Levi Johnson, who is probably going to be a guy that gets to play at the next level as well.
Empty set for Matoka. Pressure up the middle, and he is sacked back at the 35. Wallace, the All-American, with the sack.
Two-time team captain, a guy that can just fly. And look at him come on the inside, and just when you have those stunts, it gets the numbers all screwed up with the tackle guard area. See, no one accounts for him because they think he's outside. And when that guard turned inside, or that center, that just allowed him to come free on that rush.
Defensive Player of the Year in the Great American Conference, and this crowd from Searcy making some noise on 3rd down. They need to get it to the 46, and this play is going to be blown dead before the snap. Preliminary call against Mines.
Yeah, Mines
Ball start
on this offensive
number 14,
drive.
offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Don't see that too often. It was on the wide receiver, Flynn Shealy, and this crowd's going to get even noisier as Pete Sturbick looks on.
Well, when you have to throw the football, they've got 2 guys on the outside with Dre Hall with 10.5 sacks, and Nathaniel and Nate Wallace with 7 sacks. So you have to protect the quarterback in this situation.
You see they go small on this defensive line on this 3rd and long. They have brought in Caden Pierce as one of the inside defenders.
He becomes a spy to Matoka. See right there, he can get to him.
Matoka wraps, somehow shovels it to his big lineman who rumbles ahead up to the 31-yard line. He got it to Levi Johnson.
They said Caden Pierce had been out for a while, and they were waiting for him to get back because this is the element that he brings to this defense. Reed is going to hide right there. He knows the quarterback is there, and right away he gets to him. That's the element that they missed a few weeks ago when they played Central Missouri, and now that he's back, that's what he can do for this defense.
Yeah, their coaches singled him out yesterday real early in our meetings. Pierce, who missed 10 games this year, just his 3rd game back from an injury, and already in this first quarter making an impact as this first quarter will come to an end. Well, just as advertised, a slugfest here in Texas. Division II National Championship on the line. Mines all the way from the Rocky Mountains. They struck early, the touchdown to Roper. Back comes this bruising ground attack. Spicer with the touchdown. We're tied at 7. Beatons, Harding, and Mines in a stalemate through 15 minutes alongside Charles Arbuckle, Morgan Uber down on the sideline. Sean Kinney with you this afternoon. A sun-drenched day after a 24-hour wet stretch. Nothing but rain yesterday, but boy, the skies have opened up. Crystal clear blue skies. Everyone enjoying this one. Blake Dow, one of the top punters in the country with that wind behind him, sends it high and deep. Fair catch signal for at the 25. Just a few moments ago, Morgan caught up with Paul Simmons.
Coach, 2 sacks already from your defense here in the first quarter. What have you liked about the way that you've been able to bring pressure?
Man, we're having the time of our life. Unbelievable. Really bad first drive right there. Didn't execute very well, but you know, our D-line has done it all year. They just did such a great job getting after it. We got to do it all day. That guy's really special, but we're getting after him. I'm really, really pleased with that early pressure, without a doubt.
Blake De La Cruz.
I'm too excited.
Thank you, Coach.
How do you not love Paul Simmons?
He got to see his sons play football and I think state championship game together. They're freshmen and a senior linebackers.
Got to play side by side last Saturday night as they go to work on the ground with De La Cruz stumbling his way out to the 28-yard line. He talked about how special last week was for him, not only guiding Harding into the national championship, but for the first time he was able to leave Searcy and make the state championship playoff game, watching his two sons, a senior and a freshman, play side by side and win a state title.
That's always special. And he said, you know, growing up, they could run right over to the field. They're really close from the school perspective, so they've grown up around all these players.
One of those sons, Wyatt, a three-star linebacker, recently committed to play at Arkansas next year. Good job by Mines, stuffing the run, setting up a third down.
Yeah, you know, if you're going to stop them, Blake De La Cruz had a 2-yard gain. That time it was a 3-yard gain. That's almost as well as you can play against a team that averages about 3.4 to 4 yards per carry, or consistently stay in that area even with those explosive plays. In order to beat an option team, you got to make them get in a 3rd and long and force them to get out of their comfort zone.
8 in the box defensively for Trip Thomas. They pitch it left side. First touch of the day for Chauncey Martin. And Martin is cut down at the 36-yard line. And they're going to say first down. They took a look over, thought they might bring out the chains. They do not. First down for Harding.
Yeah, they got a lot of different guys that can make it happen. Chauncey Martin, a kid out of Texarkana, Texas.
Rolling on the field with the ball carrier. Got to the line to gain. That previous play is under further review.
So there is review in this championship game. Our replay official, Jamie Ramirez, will get another look at this as we take one more look as well.
Well, you're going to see the flow of defenders coming over to try to stop him. He does a nice job of making one miss and then get awful close to that first down. Chauncey Martin was the kid that had 2 really nice touchdown runs versus Central Missouri, not Jalen Spicer. But the thing with Martin and Spicer and Jay, they do such a good job when they get on the outside to make one guy miss and then get in that alley and take off. And that's why you need guys that can come up and make plays against them. It was interesting talking to Coach about Blake De La Cruz and how he mows lawns during the season. Like, man. Said he had people calling him upset because they saw your guys here mowing our lawn.
Yeah, he was getting phone calls from all these concerned residents, obviously Bison's football fans.
I thought that was that was
great. During the two-a-days as well.
You know, 7.
After review, the ball carrier's knee was down with the ball at the 35-yard line. It will be 4th down, 1 yard to go.
That's what we originally thought as we saw it play out in real time. They are going to be just short, and now a critical early decision if you're Paul Simmons.
Yeah, I think they go for it because of the way they operate, they don't mind going for it on 4th and 1. And I think they're getting close into that area where they're getting to the middle of the field. They feel comfortable and confident with their offense that they can pick this up.
We saw them convert on 4th down back in the first quarter, and here they go again as everybody comes to their feet.
Defensive line has to get penetration against this 4th and short.
Wide splits. They attack it with their fullback, and this is going to be real close.
You have to get your defensive line through the gaps in order to stop it. That was awful close, but that was good penetration by Mines.
And we will have a measurement as the clock stops with 12:43 and an all-important stretch of the chains coming up.
Timeout on the field for an injured defensive player.
There's an injury as well. One of the ore diggers down at the bottom of the pile. What a job Pete Sturbick has done. Third year, third different head coach when you look at Colorado School of Mines and what they have been able to do. As we take another look at not just the injury, but also the line to get if you're De La Cruz.
Yeah. Boy, that was close.
Timeout on the field.
And the biggest problem when you play teams that have guys that are really low, you have to be low as well. And that's Peyton Rose.
Yeah, the Rose brothers, Peyton, the fifth-year senior, Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and then his brother Preston, who we see on the offensive side of the football as one of their extra tight ends. Concern as one of the leaders makes his way off the field here for Mines. Back with you from McKinney in an all-important stretch of the chains coming up to see if Harding is going to keep the football. They could not measure because of the injury to Peyton Rose. So now making sure the sticks are aligned, we will get the measurement any moment. Big moment early in this football game. And here we go, and room to spare for the Bisons.
Yeah, they made us wait in anticipation of the chains. That good second effort allowed that to be the first down. But again, when you have success against an option team, it's that initial push where you are able to get through and not let them run free with the fullback dive.
Martin and Sinclair are the two slot backs. De La Cruz still the fullback. Fresh set of downs for Harding.
You have Roland Wallace out there, the big wide receiver, 6'2", 215, big physical blocker down the field as well.
Dane Romberger, his opposite, same story for him. And now pulling it, a late read there by Keelan. Never really a clean exchange as he stumbled out of the gate.
Yeah, that's the thing with the ball handling here. They do a nice job. I didn't think it was tough, and De La Cruz almost pulled him around, and that slowed him down where he couldn't get to that hole quickly. And I thought about great option guys. My very first college game, I had to play Jamel Holloway, and they have a big crown at Oklahoma, and he was a magician with the football. Option quarterbacks, the ball handling that they have to have has to be next level. I'm not saying Keelan is Jamel Holloway, but he has to be special today.
Following a block, De La Cruz, patience like he has showcased all season long. He'll fall ahead to the 44-yard line as we go down to Morgan for an injury update.
Well, guys, on that critical fourth down, we saw defensive tackle Peyton Rose come off the field, assisted by Mines trainers, not able to put any pressure on that right side. His right shoe came off, went into the medical tent, was in there for a couple of minutes, and then came out jogging around, and he's actually putting back on his helmet right now, looking ready to go.
Boy, great news, Morgan. Thank you. This is a versatile defender they can use all over, can play three different spots on that defensive line. Part of the depth they have behind Hester, Bonson, and Peterson. They pitch it right side. Omar Sinclair cannot get free as he is swarmed at the line of scrimmage.
Really nice job by Mines of getting outside and just continuing to stay shoulder squared, finding where that running back is. Look how they get over there. Nowhere to run for the running back, and all of those guys in position. Omar Sinclair, an effective back in this game as well. Nowhere to run on that one.
Nolan Reed, Jaden Williams tag teaming Sinclair. Second down and 8.
Reeve is a sack guy, but we saw last week he can play really well against the run also.
Everything has been on the ground thus far. No surprise for offensive analyst Kenny Wheaton. They'll run to the boundary side, a pitch to Sinclair, and they just continue to stay on schedule. These third and shorts are right up their alley.
The minute you think you have them, then all of a sudden they just find a little chink in your armor. And this time it's Cole is seeing it. The quarterback, Cole Keelan, sees outside. Okay, they're not going to cover Sinclair. If I give here, that I can hold him a little bit there, but then I can flip it outside to him on that end around, almost like a jet sweep in regular football parlance.
Quick snap and a first down carry. De La Cruz, that low center of gravity, just submarining his way to first down yardage.
Pick your poison on what A-gap you want, because he's going to give it to you. De La Cruz, 32 career touchdowns. Just his ability to run the football is outstanding. 7 100-plus yard games in 2023. He makes this offense go.
Play selection today, nobody part of the 10,000 strong in this stadium surprise. Harding knows what they want to do, and nobody has been able to stop them this year. And look at the space to run. Martin with a cut, tackle from behind, close to another first down.
Really nice job and changing it up just a little bit to come back with the end around. And no one is there, so everybody sees you. Pull it out at the last second, and then you get it out to the guy coming around. That's the thing about ball handling skills, how effective you are at not only handling the ball, but not putting it on the ground, and then knowing when to flip it out or let the dive back, keep it.
That's what's so impressive with De La Cruz. Sure, he'll touch it 20-plus times in a game, but then as a decoy, he's getting hit another 15, 20 times in a game.
Well, people, you'll see him on tape, Sean, and you saw this. He'll be 20 yards down the field, and people are still tackling him just to make sure because of how it looks and how low to the ground he is. I mean, he's just a ball of muscle. 1 negative carry on 225 attempts this season. That's what that just said. 1 negative carry on 225 attempts. And you know he's going to be probably the one that touches the ball. The way he averages those carries, you know it's coming to him.
12th play of the drive. That's eaten up more than 7 minutes. Speaking of eating up, there is nothing there. And look who's back in the game, Peyton Rose.
Yeah, Peyton Rose, the beneficiary of them trying to come back on the inside. Watch 98 here, just effectively with the block, sheds Toller, and then he takes Toller with him to the tackle. He said, hey man, come join me on this tackle. I'm a little nicked up, but I'm all right. I love the physicality. The pit framing of watching option football is exciting. People say, oh, it's, I mean, the things that they do down there. Watch number 51, Levi Pate on this block.
For the first time, the left-hander wants to throw, and a catch is made. Roland Wallace showing the hands of the receiver outstretched as he reels it in.
His 4th catch on the year. They lull you to sleep, and then they come with it this way. Cole Keelan with a nice pass and great hands by Roland Wallace. But it's still 1 yard short of the first down.
They have made a living on 3rd downs in this first half. 4 of 5. Hand the football off. De La Cruz make it 5 of 6.
Yeah, and what gets frustrating for defensive fronts when you talk to guys that play defense is the offensive linemen are so low that they're almost burrowing holes, and it pushes you back at least a yard or two. So De La Cruz or Keelan, whoever gets the ball, has a kind of a start running into that offensive line area, especially on the interior. You've got to find a way to get penetration there so you can stop that dive back.
And what's driving minds absolutely nuts right now is John Matoka is watching on the sideline. This drive continuing to eat up game clock. Inside 6 minutes to go in this second quarter.
It moves fast, and your possessions start to dwindle. Having played option quarterbacks in college, man, you sit on the sideline and you're just like, okay, I gotta stay patient. And that's what happens to Mines, and Harding knows that. Look, they just take their time. We want a little tea, iced tea. You want some sugar with that iced tea, or you want some of this Flex Bone?
Approaching 10 minutes alone on this drive for Harding. Keelan might be checking it off. Spicer in motion. De La Cruz takes it up ahead to the 10. running over his right side. You look at this offensive line, they have a couple of experienced guards, 60-year guards, and Toller, and then the All-American Hunter Willis on that left side.
Yeah, they are real effective guys. They play well inside. Jake Duggar on the outside, a legacy guy, his mom and dad. He's a right tackle. And then Landon Ray. Ray and Pate are going to medical school in the fall.
Yeah, Pate's going to attend medical school at Mercer, first-year center, making the move from guard. It's been a smooth transition, the chemistry he's built with Keelan. Third down, the pitch to the outside, to the pylon, touchdown, Braden Jay.
Sean, just like that pass, they lull you to sleep on the interior runs with all that stuff on the inside, and then when they want to get outside, Braden Jay is effective. Right here, fake, get it out to my guy. There's no one, and even Nolan Reeve is saying, who is outside? Because you need a guy coming down for the pitch man. Reeve had the quarterback, no one to account for the pitch man. Braden Jay walks in. See, on paper, you have everything drawn up. It's like a beautiful mind, but when you get on the field, sometimes those things don't compute.
It is a chant that has been echoed throughout the entire year by the fans from Harding. Flex bone, flex bone. You just don't see this offense, and in a short amount of time, tough
Offside
to prepare
with
for.
contact.
And the
Defense,
amount of plays
number 50, half the distance to the goal.
that they're able to run in practice also gets them in preparation for this. They're not real physical in practice, they say, but the amount of plays that they can run gives them enough opportunities to pull any one of these plays out of their bag.
Correction.
Kenny Wheaton talked
Harding
about
is
that.
declining the penalty.
One of the transitions he has made. He's been coaching the wishbone, aka the flex bone, as it is matured throughout the years. He's been coaching it for over 4 decades, 44 years, and he talked about the 10-minute pods in practice, no wasted time, everything quick, easing off the physicality, which was something new to the academies. West Point visits Harding oftentimes in the offseason to exchange ideas. How about this start by Harding in the first half? A monster 17-play drive. Eats up over 10.5 minutes. Jay with the touchdown. Bisons with their first lead. $14 unanswered from Harding. They lead 14-7 over Colorado School of Mines. Don't forget tonight, 5:45 Eastern, ESPN's bowl game quadruple header continues with New Mexico State and Fresno State in the Isleta New Mexico Bowl, followed by Cal and Texas Tech in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. It is that time of the year, championship football in the air, bowl season is here with the holidays. And yeah, it's been a stampede all season long when you look at it from Harding's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, 18-game winning streak going back to last year. I mean, they just, man, they have played so effectively against teams. The only team that really gave them a lot of trouble on offense was Grand Valley State. But you can't change who you are. If you talk to Mines or anybody else, you have to still stay within the principles of your defense to stop them offensively.
Spicer and Jay with the 2 touchdown runs. They continue to kick it short. Fair catch signal for around the 30. Timeout in the action. Matoka and Mines will try to jumpstart this offense. We return. It has been a record-setting season for Colorado School of Mines. It started with the 14 wins. They're perfect entering today. That's the most wins in program history, surpassing the 13 from last year. They have had their way in the Rocky Mountain Conference, another Rocky Mountain Championship. This offense, really no slowing down. 49 points per game, orchestrated by Matoka. And then this defense, maybe overlooked oftentimes because of the offense, but they have been there, not just stubborn against yardage, but also great in the takeaways with 33. And now Landon Walker is off to the races. Jordan trying to catch him. Here comes Butler. They finally corral him, but not before Walker takes it to the 16.
Before that play, 9 rushes for -1 yard. Then they found something in the middle to really get that effectively on the 10th rush. Watch here, this interior offensive line blocking, everybody locked up. Landon Walker is a Swiss Army knife. He can play any position in that backfield, even quarterback sometimes, and that's what you need against a Harding team. Huge play.
52 yards on the first down run by Walker. Matoka is going to whip it out. Far sideline pass is caught.
Yeah, you had to back this defense up because they were having no respect for the run. And that play there was huge for this Mines team.
Nick Stone with that last catch, his 40th reception this year. Receiver screen, they go to McLeod, trying to bully his way near the sticks. Looks like he'll step out of bounds a few yards shy, setting up a 3rd down in this red zone trip.
We saw this last week, Sean. These receivers do a good job in the receiver screen game.
A little bit faster tempo here by Matoka. He will hand the ball off. It is Roper, the transfer from Dartmouth, slicing his way very close to a 1st down. Clark Griffin in on the tackle, and they're signaling 4th down.
I'll say this is where they get hard. Harding really locks you down on the interior when you get in the red zone. 64%. Mines 89% scoring in the red zone.
Big bodies check in. Jumbo package. Walker, the Wildcat, in at quarterback. Looks over toward the bench. Power play, right side. Patience by Walker, but he did not get there. It looked like a hole opened up, but Clark Griffin back-to-back plays for the Bisons.
And man, you have a huge play that gets you down there, and then this defense just locks you down. Clark Griffin with the excellent play on the inside. This is what you need against a team that's trying to run the football in jumbo. No, you say, I'm coming in your house, and I'm stopping you on 4th down.
Tonight at 7:30 Eastern over on ABC, we'll cap off our bowl game triple header with UCLA and Boise State in the Starco Brands LA Bowl. And what a story it's been, a late season push for Boise State led by Spencer Danielson. He was named the interim coach for the final 3 games of the year. He went a perfect 3-0, including that Mountain West Championship game, the first interim coach in FBS history to win a conference championship. Can he keep the momentum rolling tonight against UCLA? Charles, we talked about it, scores and possessions when you play Harding, and they have all the momentum right now. This Mines defense has not been able to stop the ground attack. 19 yards on 1st down as you keep an eye on the clock.
Yeah, the clock is going to move. You have a chance in scoring position, and you take it away from your quarterback Matoka, which was questionable, but then you also come away with not getting the 1st down on 4th down, and Harding now just wears the clock out. Their time of possession can be, sometimes they get to 40 minutes in a game.
Yeah, they've been there twice this season where they have surpassed 40 minutes of TOP.
35+ minutes 9 times this season. And that's in the last 7 games. They just do this. They hold the ball purposefully, and then they're going to score now, but they're going to also keep the ball from you. And that's what makes you do some things sometimes that are out of character for you as an offensive unit, because you don't know how many more possessions you'll get.
On 2nd down, Keelan with the late pitch, and now a foot race. Braden Jay, the home run hitter, caught at the 21. 46 yards.
Sean, they found another way to get outside when there's no one to account for the pitch guy. You have someone for the quarterback right there, but you can't miss the tackle, Jackson Zimmerman, because if you do, Braden Jay will make you pay in that out. Jackson Zimmerman is a really good tackler, but he just missed on that one. And then what happens is you are getting hit every single play, and then it gets you in a position where you're not coming up making the play like you want to.
Inside the red zone. All 3 timeouts for Harding. You see why these coaches just rave about Cole Keelan and the poise that he brings, making the right decisions, keeping it here, and another first down. Clock will stop inside 2 minutes to move the chains, and Harding is going to use a timeout. And back home in Searcy, they are feeling the momentum right now.
Well, when you're 23-2 as a starter, I think even Coach Simmons said, you know, we weren't sure if he was our guy. But the offensive coordinator said, no, he is the guy. He's the guy that can develop and grow with us and do the things that we're looking for in this offense.
Practically the entire season, when you look at it for Colorado School of Mines and this defense, 10 straight games prior to this championship without allowing a 100-yard rusher, and De La Cruz has done it in the first 2 quarters.
Well, you had to figure it was going to happen with the way he runs the football and the way this team runs it. But I think now you're starting to figure out, okay, if you're Trip Thomas and that defensive staff, you got to figure out ways to not let those edge plays get you like they have. And then you also got to stop De La Cruz. You've got so many different things you need to adjust. Harding right now is feeling it, saying, let's score here. And then we get the ball back in the second half.
After the timeout, Keelan on first down, pitches it. Jay dives in, touchdown. Man, is he patient, just waited for the blocks.
Jalen Spicer and Darius Brown with some huge blocks down the field, which allowed him to just sneak in there easily. Jaden Williams was there. There were a couple other Mines defenders, but they couldn't stop him.
Paul Simmons told us yesterday when they recruited Braden Jay, they knew they had a big-time recruit. One of those guys that has breakaway speed, and you mix him into this combination with the power of De La Cruz, the decision-making of Keelan, and the speed that he brings.
When you get to the outside and you're running fast, look at the blocks there. Jalen Spicer with one, and then Darius Brown, but also Landon Ray. They lock you up, man, and it's hard to get off of them. And once they know where you are, and they do it by design because they motion and shift and get you in a position where it makes it easier for their blockers. Also, you mentioned it earlier, and we talked about it yesterday, the splits of their offensive linemen. That is a tough thing for defenders because they think, I'm so used to playing here and this is my gap, but I've got to be different with this offense, the way it's coming at me.
You look at this rushing attack this year for Harding in the long history of this program. Keep in mind, they made the transition to the flex bone back in 2010. They have never had a season where they've had 2 1,000-yard rushers. Well, De La Cruz is well past that mark, and with that last run, Jay is 3 yards away from hitting 1,000 for the year. Mines in some trouble as this ball gets caught up in the wind, and
he's got the sun in his eyes, which is a double
play there for Tate.
At their own 19-yard line.
That wind is a howling here on this Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, he had a double combination, the wind blowing to knock the kick down, and then he's going right into the sun trying to catch it.
Buck, if you're the Ore Diggers, you have John Matoka, arguably the best quarterback in Division II football. You have timeouts and you have 31 seconds.
You got to find a way to score here. You want 7, but you'll take 3, and you got to do it quickly.
Empty set, 5 receivers, pressure up the middle. Matoka dodges and throws. Max McLeod trying to get out of bounds, cannot.
And that's okay because the clock will stop, and Matoka's down.
Timeout on the field for an injured offensive player.
Mines with their star down after releasing the football. Matoka got popped from the backside, but he is tough. 57th consecutive start. He pops up, but take a look at this hit. Never saw it coming.
You get hit in the back like that, but you also have someone coming over the top. Dre Hall hits him in the back, and then he gets kind of sandwiched in between. Matoka's a tough guy, but he'll have to come out for one play and maybe more, depending on on how he's feeling.
Matoka, a two-time captain, making his 57th consecutive start. 50-6 as a starter, but he's on the sideline now as Evan Foster, who has been his backup the past 5 years, ready to take the snap, and now we have a stoppage in the action. Let's see.
Previous plays under further review.
Yeah, the way it looked, it could potentially be a targeting call. I'm not sure, but I think that's why it was what they're looking at. So when you have Dre Hall coming in, you need all the indicators.
First thing you look at, number 9 here, coming from the backside, crown of the helmet. And this is what they are taking a look at upstairs. Matoka in this first half has not thrown an incompletion. He's a perfect 11 for 11, 100 yards and the touchdown.
And was he defenseless? That's the other question mark. I mean, that's the one thing you want to say. In that position, he is. But whatever happens with this, if it is considered targeting, it's a huge blow for this defense that has played really, really well. Got 3 coming over the top, but I think it's going to be what happened from Dre Hall.
Let's go down to Morgan.
Guys, we saw John Matoka take a big hit there. He came off the field favoring really his right leg and just about everything. Looked really shaken up, and he ended up coming over. Now he's warming up here on the sidelines, gave a thumbs up, looked up in the stands and gave a thumbs up to all of his teammates, asking how he was doing as well.
So, yeah, that's good to hear, Morgan. Yes, is he defenseless? And then the order of indicators: launch, crouch, followed by upward thrust, leads with the helmet, shoulder, forearm. Player must be attacking, must have forcible contact to head, neck, or use of crown of helmet to head, neck, or body. So.
Our referee today, see on the right hand of the screen, Brian Earl. It's a Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference crew who gets the nod for this championship game. Harding with 21 unanswered points after Mines took the opening kickoff down the field and scored. There's not been a lot of change of possessions as expected with these two offenses. Looks like they have reached a decision. Let's listen in.
After review, there is no foul for targeting. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 22 seconds. 22 seconds. The clock will start on my whistle.
That will allow Matoka to get back into this game.
And just looking at it again, it almost looked like Dre Hall put his face right in there as opposed to the crown of his helmet. So that may have been why they were able to allow him. They won't allow John Matoka in on this play. He wants to play right away, but they're going to make him go out for a play.
Sturbick.
Yeah, so Sturbick
out
is
on the
going to
field.
call
Number 10 was
so
an
he is going
injured
to use
player.
his timeout to make sure he can get Matoka
He
into
must
the
sit
game.
for one play.
Yeah, he wants to have his quarterback in, especially with time back on the clock as well.
Timeout, Colorado School of Mines. Their first of the half, 30 seconds in length.
I mean, when you have your Harlan Hill winner and then a finalist again this year, nothing against Evan Foster. But a guy that has 190 total touchdowns, you want him in this game.
It has just been a remarkable career when you look at John Matocha and what he has done with this offense. Total touchdowns first, passing touchdowns. Of course, he's added one today. Total offensive yard numbers, his passing yards, and where he ranks in the Division II level, and then the total touchdowns and passing touchdowns. That's not just Division II, that's all of college football.
Yeah. We got a chance to see him last week, and he's as advertised. This Harding defense knows it. And if they can put pressure on him, which they have been able to do in times, but when they haven't, he has sat back there and been able to throw the ball effectively.
Matocha with a degree already in hand in computer science. Earned that degree last May. Watching as a spectator now on first down. A throw downfield trying to come back to the ball was Shealy, broken up by Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan, may have gotten away with a little bit of pull, but Shealy couldn't come back to it. He is a really good-looking young player.
Matocha back onto the field after a few moments ago taking that real hard shot from Hall. Lions with 2 timeouts. Keep in mind they are without their starting kicker today, Hunter Pearson. He was injured last week, so they have activated Jacob Click as their kicker today. Pressure off the edge from Wallace. Matocha trying to buy some time, threads the needle, and then it's jarred late, and they're going to say incomplete.
Yeah, I don't know how Matocha got that off.
On the field is an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
He's scrambling to his left and able to throw the ball, thread the needle. Zach Hoffman initially with the catch, but then a great job by Ty Duggar and Butler converging on him.
What has to be certainly alarming if you're Mines is how this defensive line is getting to Matocha.
Yeah, they've been able to get after him.
Not one hand on the ground here for Harding, and they're going to bring 4. Blitz off the edge, picked up over the middle. Shealy, the one-handed catch up to the 32. With 2 seconds to go, Mines will use a timeout. What a catch by Flynn Shealy.
We saw him last week go off,
School of Mines.
have a
Their
huge
second
game.
of the half, 30 seconds in length.
11 catches, 181 yards, and in that time, he just reached out and made a nice catch. Critical time of the game, not much time in this half, and Shealy reaching out with one hand, making it look way too easy. Now it gets up, the presence of mind, not only to snag this, so watch this, it's just good concentration, and okay, I got it. Calmly pull it in, and then gets down. Look at the presence of mind. Get up, call timeout. That's a huge play by a younger player, redshirt French sophomore, but a guy that's really critical for this offense. We saw it last week.
27 yards on the completion. Matocha to Shealy, and now that sets up a field goal opportunity for Jacob Click. And here comes the 5th-year senior. Sort of a homecoming for Click. He grew up in Frisco, Texas. He has not attempted a field goal this year. His last field goal attempt was in the semis last year in the win against Shepherd. His career long is 40. And now Harding wants to make sure
Timeout.
Click
Harding
realizes what's at stake with this upcoming kick.
Yeah, you want to mess with his mind a little bit. The only good thing for Click is he has that wind to his back and the open end of the field. He's in the close end, but that gives him at least some opportunity. Now, the other thing, Harding has blocked a lot of field goals, and you have to be ready. I mean, how many did we say?
7 is the number this year.
But 4 of those by Gage Price alone. 55, so keep an eye on 55.
Win behind Click as he gets ready for his first field goal attempt of the year. Certainly that will aid him, and as Buck was talking about, you take a look at who comes out for Harding. Keep an eye on number 55 in white. His 32-inch vertical at 275 pounds. Had a key block and a point after in the quarters against Central Missouri. 49 yards, good snap, good placement. Does it have enough leg? It's on the way, and he hooked it left. No good.
If your Mines needed that 3 because of the way this Harding offense is running, you got to match score for score.
That's the end of the
Not many
first
possessions
half.
left in this game, and that makes you a little concerned.
Let's go down to Morgan, who's with Pete Sturbick.
Coach, all season this team has been prolific in the first half, just 7 points here right now. What's been the challenge offensively?
Well, I heard us a couple times. There's a couple plays I called I wish I had back and put us in a bad situation, and not getting the 4th down here when we're in the red zone was critical, because then they went right downfield and scored, and we got to score points against these guys. I mean, we got to do it in any game, but these guys are so prolific themselves running the ball, and hopefully our defense can get to the point where we're getting some stops and we can get back into it.
Your quarterback, John Matoka, took that big hit there. He came off the field for a play, but back in the game. What did you talk about with him on the sideline about his status?
Yeah, he just got the wind knocked out of him, and you know, he's just got to get the ball off on time, and our line's got to give him some protection, because I think there's some things we can do in the pass game if that happens.
Thanks so much, Coach. Appreciate the time. Guys.
Down 14 here at the intermission. Sturbick will look to regroup the Ore Diggers here at halftime in McKinney. Mines came out throwing. Touchdown combination. Matoka able to find the end zone, but 21 unanswered. The rushing attack for Harding, the difference. Welcome back to the NCAA Division II Football Championship on ESPN. Intermission here in McKinney. Harding, 21 unanswered. 2 schools looking for their first national championship. We'll have a look at highlights and stats when we come back. You're watching the NCAA Division II National Championship here on ESPN, the Metroplex. We are just outside Dallas, and a good one here at the break. Second half kickoff coming up. Harding with a 21-7 lead on Colorado School of Mines. Sean Kinney once again alongside Charles Arbuckle. And Charles, at the start we talked about these two teams and the iron approach and how they cast their iron is completely different. Well, they did not budge. We saw what they wanted to do, especially with the Bisons running the football.
They run the football well and effectively, and they get after you in so many different ways. You've got to find a way, if you're the defense, to stop it.
Offensively for Mines, it's all about possessions. They quite frankly did not have many, but they started the game with Matoka doing what he does.
Yeah, Matoka was able to get the ball out quickly and efficiently. Didn't miss on a lot, but then the Bisons came storming, running back. Spicer here getting thrown in the end zone on one possession. And this is what they do. They just take possessions away from you. And then you have Braden Jay getting on the outside, a guy that's got a lot more speed than you think. Not once, but again, able to get in so effectively and score points. And now your possessions change, and Harding gets the ball first in the second half.
Jay with a couple of rushing touchdowns. You take a look at the time of possession, near 18 minutes for Harding in the first half. Colorado School of Mines, 5 of 7 on third downs. Matoka was 12 of 13 throwing the football in the first half. And let's not forget, it will be Harding who gets the ball first to start this second half. Line drive kick angled in the far corner, and Mines flying to the football. Jay nowhere to go to start this third quarter as we swing it down to the field with Morgan.
Well, no stage, no lights too big for Harding. First time being here, but head coach Paul Simmons said he was impressed with the way that his offense showed up. Normally this season, they've been a little bit slow to start. This is an offense with the flex bone that gets better as the game goes on because they wear teams down. And if you saw that first quarter interview that I did with him, he looked at me and said, "I'm excited," and yelled really excited. And I said, "What were you so excited about?" He said, "Look around, look at these fans. It's the biggest reunion in Harding history, and it's because of what this team has done, guys."
He always talks about the brotherhood, and he was part of it. As you see the surge from Keelan at quarterback, willing his way for 7 yards up to the 20.
Yeah, Keelan didn't keep it a whole lot in the first half, and you could see right off the bat doing that. And Coach Simmons talks about all these guys coming back and being a part of this program that he has built and really done a nice job at Harding.
So much of his staff that he has built, former Harding players. They are part of the brotherhood, and he was talking about two in particular with Sam Blankenship, Michael Gregg, both players on his team that reached the playoffs in 2017, made it all the way into the semis. Now watching what these two have done. De La Cruz, again, another 100-yard effort, and then Braden Jay with his speed, the 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, able to use it effectively, because if you don't stop Blake De La Cruz, and so many things come off of that effectively well for this Harding rushing offense.
On first down, De La Cruz up past the 25. Zach Hester, the tackle. Buck, let's go with Colorado School of Mines here and talk adjustments defensively. Somehow they need to come up with a stop or a takeaway.
Whenever they have those outside opportunities on the pitch, they have to do a better job there. And then also on the quarterback keep, Blake De La Cruz is going to get his yards, but you have to make sure you limit those yards, and you may have to find a turnover. You have to find something somewhere against this Harding rushing attack.
This is the defense with 33 takeaways this year. They pitch it outside, and there goes Braden Jay. A foot race. Jay to the house, 73 yards.
73 yards on the carry by Jeremy Stokes.
The minute you think you have it figured out, they come back with a little wrinkle. And that's the hardest thing when you don't have as many possessions and you start getting in the hole. You look at the clock. Braden Jay, man, wow, he's got speed. Coach said he'll come in and you won't think he's an alpha, but when he gets on that field, he's an alpha dog and then some.
Ruling on the field was a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
Now, I don't know what we're looking at. So just getting it out to him quickly. Don't even try to go out and then all those people blocked up. Their line does a good job, but also Dame Romberger, who only has 2 catches on the year, but 19 is out there blocking. You've got Spicer with a good block. You've got another block coming from Landon Ray. The pivot point or the pressure point of blocking allows Braden Jay to see it and have one guy chasing him. No one in that alley to stop him. Nate Sutter tries to get there, but he can't get there.
So this is what they're taking a look at. Jay dropping the football, and was he actually across the goal line before he dropped the ball?
Yeah, I thought he dropped it after he crossed the goal line from that angle. He's counting my tutties. Yeah.
After review, the ruling of a touchdown stands.
Well, a good lesson for all kids at home. Go all the way across the end line, then drop the ball. I know he's excited, but don't give it a chance to be left in anybody else's hands.
His 3rd rushing touchdown today for the young sophomore, a season in which he has went over 1,000 yards rushing, doing so in this championship game. The 1-2 punch of De La Cruz and Jay. And how's that for a statement right out of the locker room?
Well, it's what they wanted to do, and they figured they would come out and effectively start the 3rd quarter and just take off. If you're Mines, you haven't been able to stop their offense consistently. You've got to now score points, because if you don't, you allow these guys to get comfortable and just put this game away.
Two-time All-Stater, playing back home in Arkansas. It was part of the Arkansas High School All-Star game. And you get this type of blocking on the edge, you have his breakaway speed, and this is going to be the result.
Yeah, and like I said, that alley, you have to have someone coming down to stop him. And they did such a good job of not just pitching from the quarterback from under snap and just getting it out to him quick. And they saw something in that first half that allowed them to do that, to make that adjustment. It becomes a chess match. You know, your offensive coordinator, Kenny Wheaton, comes up with one little wrinkle, and then you'll see Trip Thomas trying to come up with one to stop it. They just always seem to have an answer today.
Now a drop on the return, but Mines is able to get back onto it. And if you're John Matocha and Colorado School of Mines, you are looking at an uphill climb, just about as steep as Mount Zion back home for them.
Yeah, I mean, you had the chance in the first half to get some points and get in a position to score in the red zone. You don't come away with anything. Now it becomes a situation every time you touch the football, what is it, 4 or 5 times this half, you got to come up with ways to score points.
Matocha led this team down the field on the opening drive. You see what they did the rest of the half, including that 4th and 1 stop inside the Harding red zone. Matocha to the air, Max McLeod, good yardage of 20 as he takes it to the Harding 48.
Yeah, Roddy Moat and Luke Tribble, we didn't get a chance to really spend time with the defensive coordinators yesterday because of they had no electricity at the hotel. It was out for multiple hours, so they had to make sure they got meetings in. They did a good job of doing that.
Matocha hitting that far sideline. The pass is caught. Zach Hoffman with the catch.
And what they've done is they've allowed Mines to march down the field. They do an out, and then you have the guy on the outside, a combo route where Matocha has options, go low or go high. He's able to get there. Really good, effective throw in that particular area. But this defense has really stiffened up as they've gotten into the scoring zone.
They bunch everybody up. They put Walker in motion. Play fake to him. Matocha wanted to go back, and he is swallowed up back near midfield. Dre Hall, one of the top pass rushers, his 11th sack of the year.
He didn't start until week 12. It didn't start till week 12, but he's getting after people every single time. 10 sacks coming into today's game, 2 so far today. I mean, he is just able to just do a number on Levi Johnson. That's one of the best tackles in Division II football, and he just moved him out of the way.
2nd and a mile after the sack underneath. McLeod with the catch. He gets back close to the original line of scrimmage, bringing up a 3rd down.
Again, they're giving up these passing yards, but again, Mines hasn't been able to capitalize on it with the score.
Here comes that smaller 3rd down package for Harding with Pierce into the game. Wallace and Hall, the edge specialists. Matocha throws on the run. Pass was a bit behind the receiver, and 4th down coming up. Obviously, they'll keep the offense on the field. Billy Pospisil with his first catch.
Well, and not having your normal kicker in Hunter Pearson almost forces them to say, we got to go 4th down along with what the scoreboard says. And this Harding crowd is going to get into it, too. They're going to let them know.
A must get for Mines early in this 3rd quarter, and it's broken up, incomplete. McLeod was the guy they were looking for. Ty Duggar getting his hand in.
Duggar able to get in there and make a play, who's been always around the football, makes plays all year long. But what you need is when you come up with the opportunity, but Duggar there to knock that down to keep the score 28-7, Harding.
Kick off your Week 15 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown crew on ESPN. They'll have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, and previews of each game right up to kickoff. Our Week 15 Monday Night Football matchup features Jalen Hurts and the Eagles desperate for a win. They travel to Seattle to take on Geno Smith and the Seahawks. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes. Harding goes back to work, making the juggling catch on the pitch is Chauncey Martin.
Yeah, really nice job by Jaden Williams of getting out there, and Chauncey had to bobble the ball a little bit, couldn't really cleanly get it, and that allowed Jaden Williams to come in with a nice tackle.
Paul Simmons watching his rushing attack get unleashed here in the biggest of stages. 26 yards shy of 6,000. I mean, just digest the thought of that for a moment. No team has ever done that in NCAA history. De La Cruz with a good chunk of those yards. Tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Hayden Gregg, who is back after missing the last couple of weeks, one of their leaders at linebacker.
Hunter Willis had a huge block on the inside. And I mean, it just moved that defensive line out of the way to give an opportunity for a huge gas yardage on that play.
Mines has not been able to stop Harding today. 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns for the Bisons. Trying to get them off the field. They're going to take a shot, looking for Wallace, and he makes the catch.
Wallace says, I don't get many opportunities, but when I do, I make the most of them. That's his 5th catch on the year. 2 of them came in today's game. I mean, he puts the ball up in the air, and Roland Wallace, you have to play man in that situation, but Jackson Zimmerman had no chance.
Keelan looking over toward his sideline. He can throw the football. He threw for over 2,000 yards his senior year at Harrison High School in Arkansas. He's completed both of his passes today for 46 yards. And we talked with Kenny Wheaton, the offensive analyst for Harding yesterday. I said, what's it like the moment you dial up a pass? And he just kind of chuckled and said, I get excited.
Yeah. I mean, he and the quarterback probably get excited, but you can tell Roland Wallace as well, extremely excited to have a chance to go catch the football. And this is what the patience level of another team, this is they use so much clock here.
See those linemen go down with their cut blocks. It's just like a whole row of dominoes falling at the line of scrimmage. Flowing to the football for Mines was Gregg.
Yeah, it was a really nice tackle by Hayden Gregg. He was able to then knife in there and get him in the backfield as opposed to letting him turn his shoulders and get going. There has to be a certain commitment also if you're going to play triple option football, and that means everyone has to work together on their side, and that's what makes it so tough for the defense.
Halfway through this third quarter, play clock inside 10. Keelan to De La Cruz, and second and third effort, forward progress to the 21, a gain of 8 and a first down.
We showed that stat earlier where he had no negative rushing plays out of 200, or 1 negative rushing play out of 225. So add all his carries today to that as well, because he hadn't lost any yards.
They talked about the unselfishness of all these players with Harding, but in particular Blake De La Cruz. They wanted to give him more scholarship opportunities as he's proven himself on the field. He said no, put that toward other players who need it. He's that type of player, the leader, and that's what you need when you run the flex bone. That unselfishness, not just from the quarterback, but from your fullback, who's the tone setter.
Well, everybody. I mean, you have to play a bigger role. And even though he's the main guy, everyone knows he's going to touch the ball a lot of times. It's still one of those things, it's selfless. Mines has to find a way to get a stop and turn this momentum, because you're almost running out of the third quarter. Offensively, you haven't been able to keep drives alive, and now your defense is staying on the field way too long.
Second down, they've had luck to the boundary side. This time a good open field tackle is made by Colin Romero as we swing it down to Morgan.
Fullback coach Matt Middleton told me that it's for Blake De La Cruz, it's not just his physical toughness, but it's the mental toughness that gives him the edge. It's so rare. Goes all the way back to his junior year of high school. From week 2 on, he played with a stress fracture in his foot, had to wear a boot around all day, and still racked up, guys, get this, over 2,100 yards that season, leading all of Springfield, Missouri. Certainly a toughness that he's carried on here into his junior year at Harding.
Yeah, Morgan, he broke his foot week 1 that season, rushing for 200 yards in that week 1 game, and then he had 8 straight 100-yard efforts, catapulting high into the air. Jay upended. What a tackle by Will Drogosh.
Yeah, now that was a nice play, because Drogosh was in position. 20 comes up, and this is what you've been wanting him to do, or wanting that position to do. Really nice job by him of not letting Jay get outside. Jay was going to hurdle him, but he couldn't quite get over.
Harding will send out Grant Ennis, who's been quiet of late. He's only had 1 field goal attempt in his last 5 games. He's been accurate, 7 of 9 on the season. This one from 32 yards. Kick is on the way, and into the Texas air it sails, and it is good. Ennis with the field goal. Harding continues to up the ante. "31 unanswered points by Harding in their debut on the big stage. First trip into the national championship game. This is a team that won a pair of 1-point thrillers early on in the playoffs. They knocked off the Harlan Hill winner at Central Missouri 35-34 in the quarters. They won a low-scoring game against Grand Valley State 7-6. They blew out Lenore Rhine last week, and now they are taking care of business against Mines.
Yeah, they are, and you know, you want to talk about the CFP appearances: Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Alabama.
It's time for football. When you look at these 4, we've had a lot of debate on who the 4 should be, and now it is settled. Who's your pick? Who you like?
Look, I mean, Alabama in that 4th spot scares everybody. I mean, sentimentally, I'd pick Washington just because I'm a Pac-12 guy, but Alabama's going to be tough to beat. Michigan, if they can't get by them in that first game, I think Bama wins it.
Zach Hoffman with the catch at the 37-yard line.
But I wouldn't sleep on Texas.
I knew your Pac-12 blood would come out.
I wouldn't sleep on Texas. Yeah, you know that.
Speaking of Alabama, Clark Griffin, preferred walk-on for Nick Saban first 2 years out of high school. Brooke High School was an undersized linebacker. Saban moved him to safety. He wanted the opportunity to play, and he's found a home here at Harding. Talked about the chance to get back into his linebacker position and win a national championship, and wouldn't you know it, he won a title with Bama. Will he do the same with Harding here at the Division II ranks?
His team is in a good spot right now for that, so I think he's happy to have won that one, but this one would be even special for him as well.
Coaches were talking, yeah, we have him listed at 5'9", but he is 5'7" tops, but he plays with a huge heart. Here he's trying to bring down Matoka, who would not go down. Quarterback draw, Matoka to the 25.
The one thing that we saw with Matoka in the past, and what you know, he has some opportunities with his legs, open space in the middle, he takes it. Now they're going to go tempo to preserve as much clock as they can.
It's been a quiet day for Roper running the football. He stays in for pass protection. Low throw offline, and it falls incomplete. You watch that last run, Buck, from John Matoka, and that's an underrated part of his game. He is very dangerous with his feet.
Yeah, he is. I don't know if we give him enough credit for what he can do there, but also identifying, look outside, and then he knows he has guys down the field blocking for him, but he is able to hold on to the football with Griffin and others coming to help him.
One thing he has proven throughout the years, not only talented, but very tough. Nick Stone the catch. They are inside the red zone. Gain of 8 yards, setting up a 3rd and short.
And then this Harding defense, we've seen it in the first half and even this half, seems to understand how to lock down when you get into their scoring position. Their defensive team has played really well.
They talked about the depth on this defensive line, and you see the hockey line type change. Not much separation between the 1s and the 2s, and at Division II, that's unique. Tremendous depth, and they're showcasing it today. Matoka will try to weave his way to a 1st down, and he won't get there.
Yeah, that was a really nice job, again, of Clark Griffin coming in and not letting them get anywhere. You'll see Griffin takes on a block with Landon Walker and then slides down and is able to take Matoka down.
Nightmares today for Mines on 4th down. They've been stuffed twice. This time, though, they keep Matoka at quarterback, and all the way down the sideline is Paul Simmons, and he wants a timeout. Minute 21 to go, 3rd quarter. Big 4th down coming up for the War Diggers. Pete Sturbick and Mines running out of opportunities. 4th and a yard. What do you like here, Buck?
Well, they're going in the Wildcat. There's no, so they're going into the situation that they did before where they didn't get it. So they're showing their hand right away. They're going to use Landon Walker to run this football.
Walker, not a real good initial push, and he will not get there. Oh my goodness. The defense from Harding, Zach Strickland, the transfer from Iowa Western Community College.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I understood what they did in the first half, but that half right there when you have John Matoka, who's got the opportunity to do that with his legs or pass the football. This is a great Harding defense. They pushed them back. Look on the interior. There's nowhere for him to run on either side. You're running against an option team that can play this all day long. They're not, look at the wall. That wall of Harding defenders, you can't run through that.
The unsung heroes defensively, those guys up front for the Bisons. Austin Bailey, Gage Price, Wesley Coleman. We've seen the rush from both Wallace and Hall, especially the way they have toughened up inside the red zone this afternoon.
Yeah, I was just a little surprised because I thought the other formation that they had before that timeout was Matoka, Landon Walker, and Roper. You have more diversity in what you can do with that. Matoka can run the ball, but maybe he was a little bit nicked up and couldn't do it in that situation. So that's a tough one again, but again, Harding has just shown you what they can do in these situations. When you start challenging them in their area, they have just done a nice job of not allowing Mines to be comfortable there.
Keelan is going to use a lot of this play clock as they get it outside to Jay. He makes one missile miss. Holy smokes. Disappearing act there is penetration by Romero, and he came up with air.
Yeah, he came flying from that secondary.
So with that last carry, it is a first for Harding. It might be an afternoon of firsts. The first team ever to go over 6,000 yards in a single season, and that's what Paul Simmons and the Bisons have been able to do today. Speaking of firsts, they're 15 minutes away from the program's first ever national championship. To the 4th quarter we march here in McKinney. Welcome back to the NCAA Division II Football Championship on ESPN as we march to the fourth quarter. Harding 31, Mines 7. Quite a story at quarterback with Cole Keelan. For more on that, here's Morgan.
Harding quarterback Cole Keelan and his dad Chris, who was also his coach in high school, have been talking about this moment of winning a national championship since the day that Cole committed to Harding. December 9th, 2020, his dad Chris put out this tweet. Very proud dad. You see it there at the end saying, quote, "Go win a natty." And for Keelan, he didn't even start at quarterback until his senior year of high school. He primarily played linebacker and was only getting looked at by college teams for defense. He told me this is surreal, living out his dream of being able to play quarterback in college. And the only number that he's concerned about is the number in the win column, guys, and now just 15 minutes away from Harding's first ever national title.
Thank you, Morgan. De La Cruz able to pick up the first down, and we had a chance to talk to Cole earlier this week, and he told us he was getting quite a few Division I baseball offers, actually, but he knew really after his sophomore year, baseball was not going to be his future. He wanted the opportunity to play quarterback at the collegiate level. There weren't many offers coming in, but Harding spotted something in him to give him the chance, and coaches were honest with us yesterday. They said they had about 5 or 6 quarterbacks as De La Cruz is into the secondary. De La Cruz trying to add an exclamation point, takes it down to the 10. Touchdown saving tackle by Mikey Barker.
Well, what the coaches said yesterday is as they lean on these defensive lines that they play, the second half it becomes so much harder for those guys to get off. They've been on the field a long time. Really good block inside there, by this offensive line. Great hustle to not let him score the touchdown.
60 more yards for De La Cruz. But going back to Keelan, they had 5 or 6 quarterbacks they were looking at the year he came in, and he was the least talented as far as the quarterback position, but they loved his attitude, what he brought, that winning persona that Morgan was talking about.
Yeah, and when your dad's a high school coach, that also plays a big role, but then your ability to win games. I think that was the key factor. He's 23-2 as a starter. I do say this for Mines, it's just so difficult to turn around after having a game like last week and then have to face a team that just does this. It's awful difficult to face this kind of offense.
And that is something Simmons pointed out to us yesterday. Oftentimes it's tougher to win conference games than playoff games because teams are used to trying to stop it, as you see Spicer denied about a yard shy of the end zone.
Yeah, they have familiarity with it, and they know and they see it at least once a year. Whereas when you get into the playoffs, you see it maybe once at all, and then when you see it, it comes in the championship game. Good tackle by Adrian Moreno. And you can hear Coach Simmons, or one of the coaches on the sideline, but I think it's Simmons saying finish.
First and goal. Martin in motion. Keelan trying to take it in himself, and he is in. Punches up 6 more for Harding, and they can taste it now.
It's one of those things where Mines started the scoring, and you thought, hey, they got it figured out. And then Harding just 37 unanswered points.
Another long drive for the Bison. 7 plays, 83 yards, all set up by the 60-yard run from De La Cruz. Keelan with the rushing touchdown, his 15th rushing score of the year, and what a show Harding is putting on here today.
Well, again, you have De La Cruz as a lead blocker. He's able to get in there and have a nice block on Moreno along with the offensive line, and that makes it easy for Cole Keelan.
Ennis with the point after. Late flag flies, frustrations mounting for the team from Golden, Colorado. Officials sorting this out.
The try was good. After the try, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 50, Colorado School of the Mines, his first of the game. That penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Timeout on the field.
Cole Keelan has been the story this year. The leader of this offense, making the right decisions. The rushing touchdown.
The NCAA Division II Football Championship is brought to you by Inspire Sleep Apnea Innovation. No mask, no hose, just sleep. And IKEA.
It's all about pursuit of the hardware, and right now, Searcy, Arkansas feeling pretty good. Harding 38, Mines 7, 11:58 to go in this fourth quarter. Bison's offense coming into this game averaging close to 50 points per game. How do you get that done? Well, you score in all three facets.
Yeah, they found ways all year to score in different ways. 7 defensive touchdowns, which is impressive, but the number that they score on offense as well.
John Matoka in this offense for Mines. He's had a tough time today. They've been able to move the football. Yeah. It's just their fourth down struggles twice inside the red zone that have cost them.
Your best bet is to stay away from fourth down. But this Harding defense has just really tightened up at that time.
Matoka starts up shop at the 25, looking right, quick throw, Max McLeod with the catch. McLeod takes it up to the 37, a gain of 12.
12 yards on the play.
Their combination has been really spectacular this year. Came into the day with over 101 catches.
Look at the numbers that McLeod has put up, second all-time this year in a single season for Mines, only trailing the great one, Brody Oliver. Let's see if this was a forward pass. It certainly looked like it initially. Some hesitation by our officials. Manning, Devontae Manning ended up with it, but they are going to say incomplete. Right call
the
there, setting up a third down.
Second down.
Or excuse me, second down.
Second down and 10. Four diggers at their own.
Yeah, Nick Stone was expecting it to come on the other side of him so he could catch it and take off running. He had to kind of flip his hips and try to turn around and catch that.
Again, you see these wholesale last-second changes defensively. 6 new defenders into the game for Harding.
Like you said earlier, like a hockey change.
Caden Pierce, the spy linebacker. They call him the Stallion as far as their defensive terminology goes. Number 3, he's 220 pounds, and he's lined up over the center. And his sole responsibility is to make sure Matoka stays in that pocket. Press coverage all across the line. Matoka's going to throw, and here's Max McLeod. McLeod trying to tightrope the far side, steps out at the Harding 49, a gain of 14.
Yeah, McLeod able to effectively work against Ahmad Butler. And they can use McLeod in different spots in the offense.
Right back to work, pressure comes, Matoka goes down. Sacked by Caden Pierce.
Well, usually they'd use him as a spy, but that time they decided to send him. So he hesitates, and then he comes all the way around, and they loop him. He starts in the center, and then they know he can come all the way around. Watch number 3 off the edge. And he comes tight, too, which doesn't allow Matoka to see him until the last second.
They are just so versatile on the way they call a defensive game up front. You go from the 220-pound quick Caden Pierce to the guy who squats 800 pounds now, your more traditional nose guard, and Wesley Coleman. It's tough on an offensive line. Pass falls incomplete.
Yeah, they make it tough on you because they bring the different personnel packages, and generally that was the first time that Caden Pierce really came off the edge where they dialed him up. Usually he has been there just as a sole spy on Matoka. In a true passing down, maybe they'll start sending him now after they did on that last defensive play.
We asked Nate Wallace, give us one word to describe the defense this year for Harding, and he, without hesitation, said bully. Third and long, three-man rush. They still get to Matoka, and another sack. It's the head bully, Nate Wallace.
Yeah, well, when you're in a position like this and you don't have any regard for the run game, you can just tee off, and now these guys are coming after him, getting in, and even though they only send 3, they were so fast off the edge and on the interior.
5th sack of the game for Harding. These two defensive ends have been sensational throughout their career. Side by side, Wallace and Hall wreaking havoc, and now here in the spotlight of a national championship, they certainly have put their skills on full display. 9:27 to go. This flex bone, which has been so lethal throughout the year, goes back to work.
Harding leads Mines 38-7 here in McKinney, Texas, and the rushing attack for Harding has been on full display today. You have to go all the way back to 2010. Paul Simmons, at the time the defensive coordinator, believe it or not, he tried to tap the then head coach Ronnie Huckabee out of the flex bone, saying it was going to be a detriment to recruiting. At the time, they had 2 potential NFL-type receivers. But that recruiting piece, the type of player that they want here at Harding, is exactly the reason that they went to the flex bone. It's a very selfless offense. You have to have selfless guys who don't care about the stats, the numbers, but guys, over 420 rushing yards today, and becoming the first team ever in college football history to have 6,000 rushing yards in a single season.
Yeah, Morgan, and we talked to Coach Simmons about that decision. When they made the transition in 2010, Ronnie Huckabee had a list of why they should do it, and we asked him what was on the top of that list, and he said, A, they were tired of getting beat 48-45. They just felt the defense was just put under the gun way too much. The tempo did not suit building a championship caliber type of defense. And then, like Morgan alluded to, the flex bone fits the culture of what Harding wants to do as far as the discipline, the toughness, the selflessness, the humility, all those factors in what they do off the football field.
Well, then you think about Paul Simmons gets the head coaching job in 2017, and he keeps it around and also hires one of the best masterminds of the flex bone, play caller Kenny Wheaton, who has been calling this offense for over 44 years. Just incredible to talk with him yesterday, and has been brilliant today in the play calling that he's done in this national championship game.
44 years for Wheaton. He has earned the nickname the Godfather of the wishbone.
Emery Ballard is the creator, but Kenny Wheaton has taken it to the next level. Now, we'll say this, both schools recruit Texas heavily, and Colorado School of Mines has done a really nice job, not only in Houston, but Dallas. They've got a lot of guys on their roster from this area, Harding as well. So this is an opportunity for both programs to be in a place where they like to recruit and get kids to their school.
Keelan will pitch it. Chauncey Martin is hit hard. Healy, that time brought the thunder. Jaden Healy, the first team all-conference player, hit him hard, and a third down stop for Mines.
Well, you know there's not going to be any quitting the ore diggers. I mean, I don't think there's any other way they know how to play but hard. And Harding has just been able to run the football effectively, and unanswered points go to 38. But I do think the one thing that hurt Mines today was every time they were getting in scoring position, they just couldn't come with ways, and especially on 4th down, that became their Achilles heel.
Ryan Fox on the punt. Connor Mickelson will order everybody away from the ball as it side kicks out of bounds. 37-yard punt. Matoka and Mines to go back to work when we return. The college football playoff semifinals are New Year's Day. ESPN. Number 1 Michigan takes on number 4 Alabama. 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific in the Rose Bowl, presented by Prudential. Then number 2 Washington, number 3 Texas. Buckle up for this one. There could be some points in the All-State Sugar Bowl. The winners play Monday, January 8th for the national championship on ESPN. Team outside the top 6 into the penultimate rankings, making the playoffs. They're still talking about it in Tallahassee, what could have been for Florida State. A lot of storylines as we head into the new year.
And that's why, I don't have a dog in the fight, but that's why I think Bama wins it, and then it really makes people even more upset. Yeah, that was tough for the Florida State kids. You win all your games, and then you're not able to get in and at least play for the national championship.
What a day for Max McCloud. 12 catches for 133 yards. This is Mickelson with the catch. Able to pick up a nice block from Zach Hoffman, his slot receiver. Well, Buck, you start to look at John Matoka playing his final game representing Mines. He already has a job lined up should he choose to go down that road. He earned his degree last May in computer science, has a job lined up in the Denver Metro, but he has indicated and hinted that he wants to give the NFL a shot.
Well, if you have an opportunity and you want to play football, play it as long as you can. We talked to so many of these teams over the last few weeks. It's their last chance to play games. They're going to go on and find their jobs and start their lives. But I think Matoka is one of those guys that has shown you he can play, and it'll give him an opportunity to at least get a look in camp and get to the right place and potentially have that opportunity to play at the next level.
And he brought up the success that Tyson Bagent had with Shepherd, another Division II program. Bagent able to get some starts in this year with Chicago as he was signed as a free agent. And that certainly gave Matoka some confidence to possibly give it a shot down the road.
His productivity gives him at least a chance. And some of the things you can see, he gets the ball out quick. He's not a tall guy, but what I've seen the last 2 weeks is his ability to get it out quick and a lot of different throws.
When you look at the consistency that Mines has had over the last 3 years and the success back into this national championship for the 2nd straight year, program located just outside the mountains in Golden, Colorado. They have a lot working for them as McCloud has his 13th catch of the day up to the 15-yard line. We talked to the coaches, and he says with the success they've had, the school sells itself. You earn a degree from Mines, it's like walking away with a lottery ticket, a winning lottery ticket.
Yeah, I think both of these schools, even they're different in what they do, but the approach to the student athletes getting opportunities to graduate and start their lives. But Mines, is one of those schools where you have to have a certain GPA before they even look at you. And that's why they've been able to come down to Texas, because of their engineering and some of the oil and petroleum degrees that they have that allows them to then recruit these guys that have the grades.
And let's face it, when you look at obviously the education they provide, the location right outside in the mountains, beautiful city of Denver, you have the mountains there for the outdoor enthusiast, and they have been able to compete with the Ivies, the Patriot, the Pioneer, something that's changing here the last couple of years. Matoka paid the price. He is crushed back at the 22 by Devontae Manning.
That was a huge sack for Manning. Again, Manning working against the right tackle, Levi Johnson, and they had a chip block coming from Roper, and he just destroyed it.
He just went right around the Upshaw winner when you look at Levi Johnson at right tackle.
Yeah, Levi was trying to block him, and then he had Noah Roper coming in the chip, but Manning said he wasn't having any of that.
6th sack of the day, 3rd down. Matoka feeling the heat, dodges, and now he'll try to find his way to the end zone. Tackled at the 3. Touchdown saving tackle by Dunlap Johnson.
Matoka realizes there's pressure coming and is able to get away from Clark Griffin and get down the field. I think he's doesn't get enough credit for what he can do with his legs.
Quick throw, and it's intercepted off the deflection by Dunlap Johnson. That type of day for Mines. McLeod had it bounce off his hands right into the lap of Darian Dunlap Johnson.
Yeah, the first turnover of the game
Moving
comes
on the
at the
field,
roast
it's an
time.
interception.
McLeod just looking to take off before he had the ball in his hands, and just a really not the great opportunity for him. But if you're Harding, you've done this all year long. You've taken the ball away when you need to. Dunlap Johnson with the pick and an opportunity to finish this game.
Harding has taken a timeout.
The NCAA FCS Championship game is on Sunday, January 7th at 2 Eastern on ABC. Defending champion South Dakota State will take on either North Dakota State or Montana. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your official home for all 90 NCAA championships. Well, it's the Bison of North Dakota State with a Z at the FCS level.
Yes.
It is Bisons with a plural when you talk Harding football.
Get it right. Get it right. And Harding capping a year where they have just been hard to beat. I mean, if you think back to their season, Grand Valley State has to be watching this game thinking, man, we were right there. Central Missouri, those 2 games in a row where they had to win by 1 point. Got it done at the end. They had both of those schools, but in particular Grand Valley State, because they were able to stop the triple option.
They took another look at the interception, Darian Dunlap Johnson, to see if he had control before getting a foot in. And
he had every part of his body in on that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, really nice job. Yeah, Max McLeod just took his eyes away, and Dunlap was able to take advantage of that.
Harding entering today, riding a program high 18-game winning streak. Keep in mind, this is a program that was playing really well to close out last year. They had the heartbreak of watching as it panned out real time, not making the playoffs. And offensive analyst for this staff, Kenny Wheaton, talked about the phone call he got from Cole Keelan. Keelan is such a competitor, and those two just crushed when they found out they would not have an opportunity to play for a national title, and they used that certainly as a springboard into the offseason with one end goal to play here in McKinney and have a chance to bring home the first national championship back to Searcy.
Yeah, sometimes when you have those kind of things happen to you, it fuels you. And I think these guys talked about it. Both sides did, which is interesting, because both of them wanted their first one so badly. But to hear how they both came from it, you know, the different directions and how they got here was really fascinating to see that come to fruition and what happened today.
Keelan on the pitch. This is Omar Sinclair, and will this be the exclamation point? Sinclair has had 3 surgeries since 2021, a chance to contribute, and he does as he brings it down the home stretch.
Yeah, missed the whole 2022 season, and they said he was explosive before those surgeries. Showed you a glimpse of that. Probably not as fast as he used to be, but you have to be impressed with the guy that has worked himself back into the lineup and getting opportunities.
He was their best back, as you talked about a couple of years ago. 878 yards before the knee injury, and now 3 surgeries later, you see the respect he has.
Yep.
Sure, it's an emotional moment for him as his teammates are there for Omar Sinclair.
You could tell when he was running that ball, the players were so happy for him, and they were all trying to get down there and celebrate with him. Dela Cruz, you know, just you can't say enough about this young man and how effective he is. You know, maybe not the best home life, but has found a way to get into school and get this team really on. He carries this team on his back every single week, and some of the things he's been able to do, and still a selfless player.
Paul Simmons talked about his very first year when he took over this program. He inherited a locker room that lost 24 seniors plus a legendary coach when you look at Harding football in Huckabee.
Yep.
Timeout.
Well, and Simmons calls a timeout so his players can celebrate with their fans. And I'll say this, we know stories on both sides. As we were saying, you know the stories and all the stuff that it took to get here, and you can tell the excitement and the jubilation of your fans that have been with you throughout all that. But I look at the Mines, and we've gotten to know their program as well, and there's some great stories over there, and you feel just as badly for those young men as you do as happy for what Harding has been able to do. Because it's hard to win win a championship, man. It is hard, and both of these schools have in position to win their first one, and it looks like Harding is going to do it. But you gotta tip your hat to also what Mines has been able to do over the last 2 years, and this year in particular.
The brotherhood that is Harding football, and Simmons talked about this year. They're playing for all the former coaches, the former athletes. A program that at one point had some of the worst facilities in all of college football. He said it was a priority to get their indoor facility opened in 2017.
Yeah.
And now here it is, the culmination, and it ends with a national championship. The program's first NCAA Division II title belongs to Harding.
Well, these two programs clearly look like they were on a collision course, and it came to fruition. And I'll say this, these Harding fans have to be happy with the end, and Mines, I know it leaves a bitter taste in their mouth 2 years in a row, but college football never ceases to amaze.
On a day in which Harding runs for over 500 yards against one of the toughest defenses in college football. Mines with no answer for the flex bone, and that has been the story all year with the Bisons in this offensive approach.
Yeah, I mean, you see it on tape and you think, hey, we have some answers for it, but when you get to it in person, it just doesn't time up the way you want it to.
Your 2023 NCAA Division II Football National Champion.
But, you know, foundation of what Harding says they want to do is have deep family. And I think you see that here with all of them and their fans being able to celebrate their first national championship.
Let's swing it down to Morgan, who's in the middle of one heck of a celebration right now.
Coach, let's go. Coach Simmons.
Let's go. Let's go.
You can see the excitement, the joy in your eyes. Harding's first ever national title. When I say those words, what goes through your mind?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Faith is so little, but now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. Now to him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations forever and ever. Amen. Go Bisons. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Coach, for your team today to come out and score 38 unanswered points, your offense continuing to just rack up the rushing yards, becoming the first program ever in college football history to have 6,000 yards in a single season. How were you able to do that today against the Mines defense?
It's 100% guys that love each other, that believe in their brotherhood, that care deeply, that put their self behind the needs of everybody else and just try to honor God. Let's honor God. Let's honor God with how we love one another, with how we work, how we sacrifice. Let's honor God. And that was really, really evident today. And how we honor God with how we battle. Well, they battled today. Unbelievable. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Thank you so much, Coach. We'll be handing out the trophy here in just a few minutes. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Morgan. And when you look at Harding, he talks about the brotherhood, and you look at this staff for Coach Simmons, so many former Bison players on this staff. Matt Underwood, he was a captain in 2002. Kevin Chisholm was a starting defensive end for Harding in the late 90s. We talked about the combination of Michael Gregg and Sam Blankenship. Trevon Bigelow, their defensive line coach, who I thought is one of the MVPs for the way his defensive line played today. He was the Conference Player of the Year in 16. You get the idea of where we're going when they say brotherhood in Searcy.
Well, when you know what your program is built on and coaches are here that love you and understand the struggle that you've gone through, Bigelow was a All-American. I mean, you think about all those guys and look at what he was able to do with his guys today to stop a potent Mines offense that really gets after you. And Braden Jay, can't say enough about this young man. Getting on the edge and being able to get out in open space and get into the end zone, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And this last one was a really nice change that they had to flip the ball out to him quick, get guys blocked up, and Jay and on to the house. Braden Jay for his 3rd touchdown. Almost didn't get it because he dropped it a little early. But still, when you have players like that making plays for you and the consistency that they were able to have this year, oh man, they just denied to be stopped.
What a story today here in McKinney, Texas, making their national championship debut. Harding wins the program's first ever title. Our coverage of the celebration will continue on ESPN Plus, where you can watch the entire trophy presentation of this year's NCAA Division II football champion, the Harding Bisons. Congratulations to Paul Simmons. Coming up next here on ESPNU, it's college basketball as Florida Atlantic takes on St. Bonaventure at the Basketball Hall of Fame Classic. For our entire crew here in McKinney, Charles Arbuckle, Morgan Uber, this is Sean Kinney saying so long. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, congratulations to Harding. So long from the Lone Star State.